Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 2 of Anchored. Thank you for the encouraging comments, the feedback, the texts, the emails, and the suggestions for future episodes. It's been exciting to see so many people tune in. I also want to just give a very special good morning to my friend Riley. So hi, Riley. I know that you are tuning in, and Riley has shared lots of suggestions with us for future episodes. And so I just want to say, Riley, stay tuned, because next week your absolute favorite object lesson will be featured on Anchored. So good morning, and I think it's time to get started. Let's get anchored. Now, there's a word that we have talked about a lot. I know at Hope Centre Ministries Bible studies. I know that we've talked about it at our Sunday evening worship services, and I know that many of our serve programs focused on this very word. So I know that this is an important topic for all of us to look at today. And that word is faith. Faith seems to be one of those words that we talk about and sometimes just have a really hard time saying what it means. Now, I have a plaque in my house, and it says this. It says, faith is being sure of what you hope for. And it's true. And I like that the second part of this verse, which isn't painted on this plaque, says, and certain of what you cannot see. Faith is being sure of what you hope for, and it is being certain. That means you know it's 100% true, even though you can't see it. And I was looking at many different things and realizing just how important me being able to see something is to me. Often we trust things when we can see them. And you've probably heard people saying, well, seeing is believing. And today I have some things set up here, and I want us to test that. I went into my serve box and rummaged around and found something from years ago that we did. And I think it's going to help us in a wonderful way today. It's an object lesson that uses a couple of very simple things. So I have a very small purple container, and I have a piece of mesh. Now, mesh, I know that you can't see it from where you are, but mesh is fabric, and it has really big holes in it. And I'm going to do something with this mesh. I'm going to put it over the container. I'm going to put it right over top of this container. And in a way, it's a lid. Now, this container is empty. There's nothing in this container, so it's not really a very good lid for anything. I mean, I guess it would keep bugs out. But then I found our serve card, and I don't know. I want you to leave a comment if you remember doing this at serve. But it said that after you put the mesh on top, you were supposed to do something. You were supposed to take water and pour it inside. Now, okay. So I'm going to take the water and I'm going to pour it, whoops, I'm not a very good pourer. I'm going to pour it inside. So now I don't have an empty container at all. I have a container that's almost filled with water. I can see it. I can see that this container is now holding water. I can also see that the lid that I have on top is filled with lots and lots of holes. But I'm glad that I had these directions from this project, so I'm going to read the next one for you. So I already did it. I poured the water through the mesh and I filled up the tube. Then it says we're going to count to 3 and we're going to quickly flip the tube upside down. Wait a minute. You saw that I could put water in, right? That means that if I flip it upside down, probably all the water is going to go out. This doesn't make much sense. Let me read it. It says, okay, you can do it, Shellie. Just kidding. It says, count to 3 and then quickly flip the tube upside down. Just make sure you hold it straight. And here's what is going to happen. It says, you can be sure that almost all the water will, I heard you. You said almost all the water is going to fall out. But this says, don't worry, almost all the water is going to stay in. Now, because I'm in my house and I don't want giant puddles, and maybe because I have questionable faith in this, I have brought a bowl just for safekeeping. But we're going to follow those instructions. Okay? I poured the water in. Now we are going to count to 3. So count with me. 1, 2, oh, just a second. I'm going to count to 3 and then I'm going to flip. I'm going to count to 3 and then I'm going to flip, and I'm going to flip, and I'm going to hold it straight, and I'm really hoping that almost all the water stays in. 1, 2, 3. Can you see that? Hardly any water fell out. Almost all of it stayed in. I don't understand. I don't understand what's holding it in. I can't see how this is possible. What? That's exactly the point. Everything that made this possible was all about what I could not see. I can't see the air. I can see the mesh. I can see the holes. I can see, and if I only rely on what I can see that likely if I pour it upside down, all of the water is coming out. And if that's all I looked for, if I didn't follow those instructions, if I didn't turn it over really quick like it said, all the water would have fallen out. I needed to trust the instructions, and I needed to learn that there is something that I can't see, air, that is working to help this work. Air is something I can't see no matter how hard I try. Now if I focus on just the mesh that is over this, and I try this again, and I'm looking at the only things that I think are going to happen, and I do it slowly, and I don't pay attention to the instructions, then I lose all of the water. Faith is believing in something that you can't see. Faith is being certain of that something. And for me, when I talk faith, it is having faith in God. And you're right, I can't see him in the way that I can see my friends. I can't hear him in the way that I can hear my phone ring. But I know for certain that he is there. And I know too that in days like this, in days where we turn on the news, on days where there are so many things that we are being shown that are scary and hard and confusing, that we are tempted to look more at those than to be looking for that which we can't see with the same kind of eyes. So today I want to challenge you to remember how important faith is as we move into this day. Faith is trusting and believing that the God who is so evident in all the stories that we read from the Bible is evident and at work today. Believing in something we can't see takes a lot of trust. So I want to just end with a couple of Bible verses that I have some days even put on Post-it notes by my computer. These are reminders that I know I need, and maybe it's a reminder that you need as you face today. This is one that I read often. It comes from Proverbs 3, verses 5 to 6. And there it tells us, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And then from Psalm 28, verse 7, I love to read these words. The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts, and I am helped. And finally, I want to leave you with this verse. Psalm 62, verse 8. Trust him. Trust him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is our refuge. I hope that as you move forward with today, that it holds many wonderful things for you.